Jace Nakarado has put together some notes here from the Tony Khan media call for AEW Revolution. Let's go to some of the questions here. We have a question about the improved quality of the show and what Tony attributes that to. Have you thought a lot about the improved quality of Dynamite?
I would attribute it to psychedelic drugs on behalf of the viewer.
I didn't hear from Bill Bodkin with the pop break, and he'll be followed by Bill Pritchard from WrestleZone. Bill writes, you mentioned the improved quality of Dynamite and Collision in your upfront remarks. What do you attribute this marked improvement to?
That's a great question. I think there was 5 years ago, around the same time, on the path to the original Revolution, I made a lot of New Year's resolutions to myself, and I felt like the television in January, February, and into March 5 years ago, around the original Revolution, was better and some of the best television we ever did. And every week we delivered a great show. We never took the foot off the gas pedal. And I think there are many elements that make a wrestling show great. And I made a promise to myself 5 years ago around New Year's, going into 2020, at the end of 2019, that we were going to deliver great shows every week. And really the big thing I told myself, this is no secret, I said it back then, so you can go back and look at the interviews. I told myself, if I don't like something and somebody pitches me an idea, I'm not going to be nice anymore. I'm just going to tell them, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm sorry. And I have really pushed back on a lot of stuff in recent months, where a large percentage of what you're seeing is being handwritten by me. And that is the exact same thing that I did 5 years ago. And it worked really, really damn well.
Hold up. So basically what he's just said is 5 years ago, I made a New Year's resolution. I'm going to try to start doing a good show every week. And I guess by implication, but yeah, later on I quit doing that. So now it's 5 years later, but I'm promising myself to do it again. What is he fucking talking about? What is great about any of this? And why does it take him 5 years to think, oh, I should do more great stuff? And why did he come to the original realization, yeah, I should try to do a really good TV every week? Like that's something that is a revolutionary thought. You know, most weeks I'm just going to try to get by, and maybe every once in a while I'll suck. Help me, Brian.
I don't know how to help you. The idea that he's the one shooting down ideas because he believes in his ideas. And the big lesson of AEW is he should go back to when he took full control of the creative. And, you know, guys have always had input. And Tony's saying that again, the question was about improved quality of the show. He's saying the improved quality of the show is because he went back to his mindset of, I'm in charge, I'm writing the show alone. So it all goes back to his belief in his ability to write a wrestling show.
Go ahead.
And I realized that's probably what I should do going into this Revolution, because it worked really well for the first one. And I never meant to look back, but, you know, a lot of times you try things, you get into habits, and I really like working with people. And most of AEW is about collaboration, and that's really one of the things that makes AEW stand out. And there's times where I've been too collaborative and just need to push back. And I think in this, you know, past couple months and 5 years ago at the same time, you saw that. And the product was one of the best shows we've done week in, week out 5 years ago. And I think we've gotten that kind of quality going again. And
I love the idea that he thinks, you know, like, where was he too nice as a collaborator when he said, sure, Miro, I'll hire your wife and let you guys do whatever weird shit you guys want to do on the fucking show. I'm not exactly sure. And again, he's acknowledged all along that everything's great. Now he's kind of saying, well, things are great now because I'm going back to when things were great 5 years ago.
He wishes he could go back to those numbers, by the way, that he had 5 years ago, because they were almost double what they are now. But go ahead.
You wouldn't know. So I sometimes see people who haven't clearly watched the show talking about it. But I think the people who are watching it week in, week out right now are very, very happy with the quality of the AEW Dynamites on Wednesdays, the Collisions on Saturdays. And one thing we've consistently done from the beginning of AEW is great pay-per-view. We never got away from that. Last year was the best year on pay-per-view, I believe, show to show to show we've ever done. I don't think we've ever done more great pay-per-views or been more consistent on pay-per-view. I made a promise to myself that I would try to carry over the same level of detail and precision to the television. I said it 5 years ago I would do it, but that was when we were just doing Dynamite. And
Detail and precision? Detail and precision? What the fuck? Whether it's not knowing the building codes details when they put up their fake walls, or just all of the details that we point out, why does any of this make sense, and who could follow this? And the string of, I get great pay-per-views because they have indie garbage matches involving blood drinking and barbed wire on every pay-per-view. And for the audience that he's already got, and he's one of them, that's great stuff. But for everybody else that's not watching because it's hokey indie horse shit with people that are either not stars or stars that have been made meaningless by the booking, doesn't matter what kind of fucking match you have. And that's another part of the problem. He genuinely believes, like old Uncle Dave, who at least can use senility as some level of defense, mitigating factor, Tony believes that these fucking hokey-ass indie bullshit matches are really great wrestling matches. And as long as he can't see the problem there, nothing's going to change. But I digressed.
Let's go back to Tony Khan.
A very different setup now with the importance of Dynamite and Collision. And it was really important to me to make the Collision shows great week in, week out, which I just think we're on this fantastic run of Collision shows going back. In particular, really through the Continental Classic, I thought there was so much fantastic stuff on TV in December, but a lot of the TV in December was the Continental Classic, and it was fantastic. So I really loved those shows, but it's hard, especially when there was one less week than the year before.
Oh,
I wanted
good
to
Lord.
not subtract from the Continental Classic. I wanted it to be better than the year before. I think it was even better, or at least every bit as great. And it's one of the real highlights in the history of AEW for me was how great this Continental Classic was. And
Brian, what was one match in that tournament? Name one match in that tournament. We watch the thing and take notes on it.
This year's Continental Classic? Shelton Benjamin versus Commander.
You're right. Okay. I'm sorry. You always remember the preposterous.
I remember a second thing. How did Commander get into the tournament?
Didn't somebody else fall on his head?
Juice Robinson got hurt.
That's right.
Back to
the great tournament.
Juice Khan.
Into that and realizing that our pay-per-views in 24 were just fantastic. We did a lot of great TV shows. If we could just be as consistent on TV every week as we are on pay-per-view, even though that's a really tall task, 52 weeks a year, we can do anything. And I really believe the shows have just been fantastic. And I think if we keep putting on great shows every Wednesday on Dynamite, on TBS and Max, and put on great shows every Saturday for Collision, and continue what we have been doing going back a long time and all of last year, every pay-per-view last year I thought was fantastic. I would watch any of them again, and I would hold up any of them and say, this is a great show. And I think that's maybe the first year where I would hold up every pay-per-view and say every pay-per-view was just absolutely fantastic. 2021, I thought all the pay-per-views were also like that, but there were only 4 of them. So to maintain that quality with more pay-per-views and develop the great franchise.
Doesn't he have other things to do? Doesn't
They're
he have
just
other
words.
things to do?
Words.
I'm waiting for him
to.
I mean, this is still the same question. I'm just waiting for the answer to end. This is about the quality of the shows and what Tony attributes it to.
Verbal diarrhea.
Franchises we've added since 2021 and then have that quality maintained in 2024. I thought that was a really big deal. And now, just like we're doing more pay-per-views and we maintain that great quality, I think we can do more TV and maintain that great quality. And a lot of it is really about the right amount of collaboration, which is a lot of collaboration, but also sometimes means telling people no. And I really appreciate you asking, because I think, like I said, our pay-per-views last year were fantastic, and we did a lot of great TV shows. And I think we can be as consistent on TV this year and have been that kind of consistency, especially the last few months. Thanks for asking.
Thanks for finishing.
Well, there's Tony's.
No, but here's the thing. So again, we've pointed out everything in excruciating detail that's wrong with this fucking dog and pony show, and his response is to how everything's been great is that, yeah, as long as he tells the right people no and does his own shit, everything's great, and we're going to try to continue to be great like we were great 5 years ago, and we're all great, and everything's great.